Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round number 7 of the SRS Super Formula World Championship here live at the Autodrome dei Nazionali Monza, the Temple of Speed, according to in real life fans. I'm your host and commentator for today's set of feature and sprint races, Esteban Score RRDZ, and it's great to be back here in the commentary booth for another exciting round of open wheel racing here in the SRS Motorsports League. Of course, getting in a little bit later than I would like to, but that doesn't mean the action's about to get underway here for qualifying, which is about to get underway real shortly. So we'll take you down the field as we always do before getting things going. There is, for SRS Motorworks, Shadow in the number 68 Super Formula machine. That driver has been absolutely on fire for the majority of the season. Of course, trying to currently serve a 1.4 second penalty. Unless he's just taken out his teammate Marcello, which could be the case. I'm not 100% sure about that, but we'll come back to that in a little bit. There is Hair Razor in the 69, one of the cost grades of my SDM machines, the white and blue. My apologies for that. Razor in the 69, about to get things rolling here today at Monza. There is the number 12 of Dudley, and Dudley has been nothing less than a thorn inside Max's side here in this Super Formula World Series. Of course, a rookie driver in the SRS Motorsports League, but he has been absolutely electric in the Repsol-sponsored Honda. Of course, having a couple wins this season. And he wants to continue that trend in the final 3 rounds of the championship. 6 races to go, 3 features and 3 sprints left. There is Doug Barrow in the 13, the old timer, of course. Season 1 GT3 Tier 2 champion. Of course, it has been up and down ever since. Of course, that driver has shown incredible pace, but unfortunately the luck hasn't been on his side in a couple of these occasions, of course. But hopefully he's willing to turn that around this season with a couple of good races here today. There is Superhero in the number 18. One of the Pink Panthers here, of course, has shown excellent pace in this series. Of course, coming back from a little bit of a hiatus, but of course, making his presence known here today. There is James Head, of course, the other commentator, this time on track in the number 7 Red Bull sponsored Toyota, and for some weird reason, he's just taken out one of the 100-meter braking boards. Of course, Buddy Hopsit somehow just saved that. I don't even know how the heck he just did that. Quickly serving the penalty, of course, and just stopping on track. Go back down. There is Petrolhead in the number 44. Of course, one of the mid-pack drivers. Of course, has shown pace from time to time. At the moment, 1.2 seconds off the pace, but looking to make whatever ground that he can left. There is Bar 27 in the second Pink Panther. Of course, going to do what he can do to get up the running order. Of course, part-time entry, but races whenever he can, given his busy schedule. There is the number 5 of Marcello. What a caliber driver Marcello has been ever since joining the scene with SideMax and, of course, joining the SRS Motorsports League. Of course, making a few appearances in the FIA Manufacturers and Nations Cup for the SideMax Motorworks team, and including the IGTL. Of course, trying to get the most he can out of that car, really getting the most out of that car, even if he's having to go a little bit beyond track limits. Not a optimal racing line, of course, but hopefully he doesn't have to do that in qualifying, of course. Of course, Marcello trying to make his presence known, of course. There is Splash in the number 11 Speed Demon Motorsports Super Formula machine, the Honda. Ooh, picks up a 5-10 penalty right there. I think he is going to continue on this lap. Nope, he is going to serve that penalty now, get it out of the way, but burn as much fuel as he can. Of course, these cars don't have to overtake for qualifying, of course. About to get things going. Marcello up top, but Splash in second place. Dudley in third, and Shadow down in fourth. Hair Razor making his way to the pit lane. Wait to see when qualifying is about to get underway. Tap, grow up to James. Just giving Tice the okay, giving A ready to go for the start of qualifying. Slash picking up another 1 second penalty. Marcello, we're going to take you a quick onboard lap before qualifying starts. So we'll go on board with the number 5 of Marcello. Really lay on the brakes, over revving the engine. That Honda or the Toyota machine, I'm not too sure what powers these two cars. I'm not sure. I know Marcello's trying to get the most he can out of that car, but I don't think that's the most efficient way to do it. So I think that's going to be getting flagged. So it seems like a little argy-bargy going on in the chat beforehand. Marcello now really getting the most out of that car. Quick flicks of the wheel through the first chicane, then back on the power through this sweeping right-hander. Then going towards the second chicane up into 5th gear, maybe having a little look into 6th gear, given the car's low power, or maybe keep it in 5th gear. He's going to keep it in the 5th gear, braking right pretty much at the 50-meter board. Really aggressive over these soft screws. You have to be careful with these track limits, otherwise they will hurt you really badly here. Through the first parabolica into 4th gear, really using the most amount of astroturf right there, then late on the brakes, probably even at the 30-meter point. Through that second parabolica into 3rd gear, going up into 4th and into 5th gear. Everyone's saying that they're ready for qualifying to get this show on the road. And so through Ascari, really lay on the brakes, quick flick at the wheel. You can just see how aggressive Marcello is at the wheel of any given race car. Through the Ascari chicane, very, very easy. Then the Temple of Speed, get a glimpse of the crowd on your left, are braking heavily right at the 50, 40, 30 meter board given, and the grip in these cars is absolutely monstrous. Now, you can do the Marcello strat, cutting all this astroturf, getting right alongside the pit wall here, and he's just going to be 24,000 shy of that top time. I'm not sure, given the race stewards are going to allow that. So I'm not sure if the race stewards are going to allow Marcello to be cutting that astroturf, so we will have to figure that one out real shortly indeed. Qualifying about to get underway here real shortly. Taking down the field once again, there's Dudley. About 4/10 off of Marcello, but 2/10 down off of Splash. And not that far up on Shadow. Shadow I was a little bit expecting to be further up the field in amongst the top 3, just knocking on the door of that top 3. Let's see if Shadow is on any given lap. He's actually in ghost mode at the moment. He's just gone out for his out lap. I think he's just trying to get by the number 44 of Petrol. And it looks like Shadow is just spun, with me not even paying attention to it. Taking you on board now with the Mad Lithuanian of Splash. Using that car through 4th gear, of course, Splash being one of the most consistent drivers in the SRS. Very gentleman-like driver. As he's now going through, really pushing the limits of that car. K&K Dot, welcome to the stream. It's good to see you again as always, buddy. Hope you are doing well. in Spain. I hope Spain is treating you very, very well as of late. Good to always see you in one of these streams. Of course, we always miss you. Hopefully, we do get a chance to see you on the track in SRS at some point. Of course, Kincaid, one of the really quick drivers of SRS. Of course, hasn't been participating in since GT3s, but he's been on and off ever since. Hopefully, we do get to see him at some point. Quinner, welcome to the stream again. Nice to see everyone again. It's good to see you again. Hope everything is going well for you as of late. And hope you are ready to get things rolling here for Super Formula. Let's go down the field again. We'll go on board with James Head, who, again, I believe is trying to let everybody on by so they don't impede. He doesn't impede their lap. Very sportsmanlike, James Head. And so, yeah, that is the Toyota. But what's the sponsorship? What's the sponsorship of the? Oh, it is Hondas. Okay, so they are Hondas. Of course, there's tap in the pit lane in that lime green machine. Ty saying Lelo. I think he meant to say hello. I might have to check on the autocorrect there real quickly. Right, there is qualifying about to get underway for 10 so odd minutes. And so we're about to get the show on the road here. Can not say maybe for next season, depending on the class. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with next season of SRS. I haven't heard a whole lot. Everyone's just trying to dive out of the pit splash. Oh man, he just got stuck in the pit. Man, everyone just in the pit. So everyone going out and about. I believe the first one, who is the first one out of the pits? I believe that is going to be the old-timer in Doug Barrow. Do we have an incident? Yeah, I think Petrolhead taking to the what's happening here? Oh, just completely missed his braking point, and now he's had to take to the escape road, and that's going to impede his progress just a little bit, get those tires a little bit dirtied on up. And so, looks like, I think it's Doug Barrow still the one leading him off. I believe so. I'm going to switch the camera angle real quickly here. Oh, and I believe someone has had a form of off. Is that Bar 27? We'll go back to him real quickly. Has he had some form of off? We'll double check here real quickly. Oh, that was Superhero and both Bars, so both the Pink Panthers going a little off. A little bit of contact on that wall, but nothing too significant. And he's having another off again after second Lesma. We'll go with Doug Barrow, who's making his way through the Ascari chicane to lead this pack of cars off. And so it looks like the stewards have given the green light for the Marcello Strat to cut all that action traffic, get the most amount of time that you can get in these cars. Doug Barrow going a little bit wide, but these cars have immaculate grip to keep it nice and grippy with a lot of downforce. Doug Barrow going to go nice and wide. Get as far left as you can to begin the first of many flying laps here at the Temple of Speed. Doug Barrow hard on the brakes, going through turn number 1, the first chicane. A blue flag glitch. Yeah, I was doing a league race here the other night here at Monza, and even though I was a little bit ahead, maybe even a little faster than some of the guys behind, I was always getting a blue flag glitch there. I think that's just a glitch in the game. It's nothing too significant, but it's a little bit odd to see that happen. So hopefully there'll be no big issue there. Oh, and Doug Barrow has it a little bit off, and that's going to impede his progress just a little bit as well. And he's got to let all these cars on by just to make sure that he doesn't get in the way of anybody. Or he's going to provide a bit of a slipstream, especially for Superhero, who's right down in second, right behind them, given Marcello and Shadow are not that far off as well. There goes Doug Barrow. I think he's just trying to let these guys on by. Yeah, there he goes. He's going to let Superhero on by so he doesn't impede his fastest lap. Who's that in the back of the grid right there as well? That is Tap. And then Razor, then Bar, and then Dudley. James Head has currently got himself a 4-10 penalty at the moment. So we're about to see these first flying laps come on in. So we'll turn our eyes back up to the front of the field at the moment with Superhero leading him off. Doug Barrow, of course, going to have a bit of a slower lap for having that little off. Nice final corner by Superhero to take it nice and consistent. Towards these guys going as far right as they can. Start off with a 139.199. But Marcello, oh my goodness me, 138.109. Splash and Dudley, third and second respectively. Shadow in fourth. Bar 27 and sixth. I thought that was a quick time from Dudley. Hairraiser bringing up to the back of the grid just a little bit. All these times coming in, James said 140.377. Marcello 4/10 up on Dudley with a 138.109. Did use a bit of overtake right there. 142.281 from Tap. And Splash an extra 5/10 off. So Marcello must have had a very good lap. So we'll go on board with Marcello for a little bit. You can just see here the amount of switching that these cars are so dependent on given their low power and their base weight. Oh, Doug Barrow thinks he's going to go a little bit off. He is. He's got to keep it careful. There goes the 100-meter board. Doug Barrow, oh my goodness, mate. Well done to keep it out of the way. And think sportsmanlike of some of these guys. They're splashing in the background there with a 5/10 penalty, 9-second, 1 second near penalty for Splash. Of course, a 139 flat for him, but he's 9/10 down off the pecking order. Petrolhead's going to let by Dudley in second place. Splash now currently trying to serve a little bit of that penalty to get it off the board. So he doesn't have to worry a whole lot for that matter. Marcello currently still in front. Superhero not that far off. I think Marcello is just a little bit a ways out of the toe, unless he still is actively getting it. But the big question is going to be who's going to come in for those tires. Is Marcello going to come in? Superhero will. Marcello going to do the Marcello strategy. Will he gain? No. 90,000 shy of his fastest time. Superhero, of course, the only driver of this top 5 to come on in. Dudley improves to a 38.364, but he is still 2.5 down off of Marcello's fastest time. James Head also going to come into the pits as well. We got other cars coming in as well. Superhero coming out of the pits now. Doug Barrow and Razor also coming into the pits for their stop and to get some fresher rubber as well. Splash actually staying on out, so these guys thinking that they could squeak out an extra lap to get a little bit more grip. Tap up in the with a 40.768, but I do believe, yeah, he is 9. Doug Barrow and Razor having a very difficult time at the moment with the 13 and the 69. Of course, oh, they got to get out of the way for Tap. Oh, quick instincts by Razor to get out of the way. These two side by side, gents, it's not a race. It's only qualifying, for goodness sakes. Trying to rise back up to the front of the field. Marcello, and I believe that was Splash again getting another penalty. No, that was actually Shadow. 1.4 second penalty. These guys have not used overtake, and I do believe they are saving it for the final duration of the final lap to get the most amount of tires and the least amount of fuel, but the most amount of hybrid boost. Shadow, as a matter of fact, only 2,000ths off of Splash for that third place. Splash is up on this lap, 2/10 up, as a matter of fact. So I think track limits have gone his way a little bit this time by to get that car a little bit up the running order, but he's 6/10 down on Dudley. Where is Dudley? He's coming through the final corner right now, but I do believe Marcello going to come into the pits. Yes, they will. So these Simax crew will come into the pits. Will Dudley stay on now? Dudley will stay on out, and I believe that is going to mess up the strategy. Splash actually going to come on through, and he misses out, and I think he's getting impeded by Petrolhead, which is not good news for him, which is very unfortunate. Bar 27 also going to come into the pits as well. So Dudley has got a fair amount of work to do in order to get the maximum amount out of that number 12 Super Formula machine. Of course, that blue flag glitch, again, not doing anybody any favors at the moment. Superhero down all the way in 5th place. Tap has improved, and I believe that keeps him in 9th. Yes, it will. Doug Barrow and Razor, I do believe, are trying to get the most amount that they can out of that car. It is a fair amount of working around. There is Bar 27 all the way up in 6th. Bar 27 actually doing very, very well for himself up into 6th place, just behind his teammates. So Bar 27 doing very, very well in that number 2017. I expected him to be a little bit down at the bottom of the pack, but doing very, very well for himself up into the top 6. So a good race, a good qualifying session for him so far. Let's see if he can replicate that in the race. A little bit slow. He's actually going to let one of the other Super Formula by. That is the number 13 of Doug Barrow. Trying to rise back up to the front of the field. Dudley now wondering if he's on a better lap this time by. He's using a little bit of overtake, but he does have that penalty I don't think he is going to make it around one last time. He will serve that penalty now to get a clean slate for one final time to go. Of course, hard on the throttle, using that overtake now. This is where the overtake is going to really be used up here at the Temple of Speed. So Dudley using the maximum amount of power that he can get out of that vehicle. And I imagine Marcello and Shadow as well. These two are actually going to try and double team each other to get each other a little bit of extra towing assistance now. Now the overtake is being used between these guys. These guys are really going to push it now. Pedal to the metal now. Dudley going through into turn number 1. This is going to be an absolutely electric qualifying here for the final bit. James Head now up into 3rd place. What a lap by James Head to break into the top 3, crashing the party. Doug Barrow in the 4th place. Now this is where qualifying is going to get very, very interesting indeed. Dudley now coming through that second chicane. He's up by purple sector, so this is going to be very, very close. I imagine there's going to be a lot of purple sectors here within this final lap of qualifying. Marcello and Shadow, of course, being on fresher rubber, so this is going to be absolutely interesting indeed. Dudley liking not to pit, so he's going to go for the max amount of grip that he can. Splash in the background there as well in 5th place. Is he going to start to use a little bit of overtake as well? He is indeed. So a lot of purple sectors are going to be broken this time by Marcello. Oh, and I believe that's James Head, who has gone off and wrecked the car. Not good news for the Brit. What has happened here? Oh, big sideways moment, and that has ruined his qualifying, and that is not good news for the number 7 of James Head right there, and that has ruined his qualifying completely. Where is Dudley, however, coming through towards the final corner? He's going to use all of that overtake and what he's got left in that number 12 machine. He's going to come through the final corner now. He's going a little bit wide, but what's that car got? What does that Honda machine have left? Is he going to come through? Coming through to the final corner now. It's a 1:36.750 to final things off. Splash now in 2nd place, but Marcello. Where is Marcello now? Coming through the final corner. Petrolhead breaking through into the top 3. Superhero up into 3rd. These cars do not have much overtake left, but is it going to be enough? And it will indeed. By 0.3 of a second, Shadow crashing the party to make it a side match front row of the grid. Doug Barrow into 5th place, breaking the top 5. Bar 27 back up into 6th. Very good performance for him in this qualifying session. Razor now down, I believe, in 10th place. Tap also as well down in 11th as well. And that right there is qualifying. Side max spoil the party with a 1st and 2nd lockout. Dudley and Splash making up the 2nd row of the grid. Right, 30 minutes now on the clock for the first of 2 races here for the Super Formula Weekend here with Side Max on the front with Marcello and Shadow occupying the front row with Dudley and Splash in 2nd place. Doug Barrow and Bar 27 in 6th place with Doug in 5th. Superhero and Petrolhead 7th and 8th. James Head and Razor rounding up the top 10 with 11th occupying by Tap as well. Right, now 30 minutes on the clock for the first of 2 races here, the feature race. The red light is on at the top of your screen. The green light is now gone. A great start for Doug Barrow at the back end of that grid, going up in the 3rd place, using a little bit of overtake right there. We're going to go into turn number 1 to see if we can get something going out of here as well. Going to be very, very tight in D here as well. Who's going to be shuffled through the end of this? James Head all the way down to 11th place, so not a good start for the number 11, for the number 7 of James Head. Shadow now getting by the pole sitter of Marcello with Dudley and Splash. A close 4th and 5th behind as well. My controller is low on battery, for goodness sake, so I got to get that plugged on in. Bar 27 down into 7th place. Oh, Doug Barrow going to try and look for a move down to the inside of Marcello at the first chicane, and he's gone off. And Doug Barrow has gone off. Oh, that is not good news for Doug Barrow. Where's he at? I'm trying to... Oh, my goodness me. Where in the world? Oh, that is not great news for Doug Barrow. What has happened here? Oh, and I think he might have gotten a little bit of assistance right there. We're going to take a look at that again to see what we can find. Oh, and I think there was definitely contact right there. And unfortunately, I think in these cars, that's not one of the brightest places to go too wide. We're going to see if we can try and get it again real quickly here. See if there was a little bit of contact. Yeah, that's a really tough one right there, because I think Marcello was just trying to at least make the chicane. And I don't think there was nothing Doug Barrow could have done differently, in my opinion, right there. tough luck, but I think that's one of the corners that you don't expect too wide to work out, unfortunately. Dudley now up into third place with Splash, a close fourth with Superhero, not that far off in fifth. It is going to be a very tight top 5 race here today. Very tight race indeed here. So we'll take a brief moment to get you guys the questions answered. Kane cannot say, is overtake refilled for the race, or you go into the race with the same amount you finish quality with? It is refilled at the beginning of the races, so to keep in mind. Okay, for the amount of overtake they're using, I guess it gets refilled. Haha, indeed. They all save everything for that last long lap. Absolutely, indeed. They want to get the most amount of weight out of the car, being able to use that extra hybrid boost as well. And Dudley now actually getting a little bit of pressure now from the number 11 of Splash. It's Marcello and Shadow. Shadow leading Marcello off the pole sitter now. Splash now, ooh, very aggressive driving from the mad Lithuanian in 4th place. Ty saying Doug's fault in my eyes, went through a dive and squeezed Marcello out. Yeah, I kind of want to say it was Doug's fault a little bit in my opinion. Quinter saying it was also Doug's fault. Yeah, I think Doug Barrow tried to move that. Yeah, I thought that was going to work for him, but I think unfortunately Marcello was just trying to, you know, just make sure he was following that track limits. I don't think it was unfortunately going to work out for him in the end right there. So I think it was just a racing incident, unfortunately. I think Doug Barrow, I think, paid the ultimate price for that as well. Of course, 3 minutes into this race, and I thank everyone, of course, all 9 of you, of course, tuning into the stream, watching a little bit of Super Formula action here as well with yours truly, of course. I guess the OG commentator for SRS, and of course with the sidekicks, James down in 7th place at the moment. So Shadow leading Marcello off at the end of the 2nd lap. Dudley a close 3rd behind as well in the Repsol Honda. Splash now I think trying to look for a bit of a move. Going to keep his nose behind, and Superhero making up some very good ground in 5th place at the moment. Bar 27, I'm going to tell you right now, Bar 27 has very much impressed me in this race so far. Of course, qualifying in 6th place and staying in 6th place for the most part. So this is going to be some very great progress here for Bar 27 if he can hold this off. Of course, Bar 27 has had, you know, a couple incidents in the past, of course, a couple spins, a couple unfortunate incidents, but Bar 27, the progress that he has made as a racing driver has been very, very impressive indeed. James said, of course, closing up in 7th place behind as well, starting the first lap at the first chicane down to 11th. But Bar 27 doing a solid job here in that number 27 machine, of course, doing the most that he can. Oh, don't go on the gravel and lose it. All that progress already, buddy. You're doing such a fine job. Keep that momentum up, buddy. You're going to get somewhere, of course. Now James Head on the back bumper in that Red Bull sponsored machine. Too wide through the Ascari chicane. Oh, this is not going to work out. Oh, giving each other the racing room. Plenty of racing room. James Head on the outside. What a move that was by James Head. On board once again. Great job of each other to give the racing room. And that is a clean pass by the number 7 of James Head to get up into that top 6. Splash now all the way down in 5th place. Something has happened to him as well. He's lost a little bit of ground, and Superhero making that pass on through the straight. Now they're side by side, just barely. Now Dudley has made up incredible ground on these two side match machines who have been leading this race. So I think Dudley now is going to start crashing the party here a little bit for the side match crew. Oh, these two slowed through a little bit. I think they were a little bit too close. And now that's given the break that Dudley's needed to get back up onto the back bumper of Shadow, or the back diffuser, I should say. These cars aren't GTs, they are open wheel cars, as a matter of fact, as well. Dudley doing an impressive job here. And oh my goodness me, these cars get very big here. We got to take a look at that again from the driver's eye. The mad bumps in this Super Formula machine. We're going to take an eye out for it as well. Oh my goodness me. I don't know how these cars even don't, like, take off like an airplane, basically. Oh my goodness me, these cars, they're a little scary at times. I've driven these cars on a couple of occasions, but unfortunately I think given my driving style, it just hasn't gone the way that I expected to. I think Shadow was just starting to serve up a little bit of penalty there. I'm going to take a quick brief at that as well. Yeah, you can see he's ghosted a little bit as well. And I think he's trying to give Marcello a little bit of breathing room so he can give the hard work to Dudley, who's not that far off in third place. So Dudley's going to be really, really aggressive here into this next coming lap. Oh, Dudley dive down to the inside. A little bit of contact there between that 68 and the number 12. Marcello going a little bit wide. And that's actually given more of a benefit to Shadow than it has done to Dudley. And I can see a little bit of Argy Bargy going on right there. Hair Razor has now moved up into 6th place. I think Bargy was having a James really going side by side here. James had using, I think, a little bit of overtake. These two side by side going towards the first chicane. Oh, side by side. Actually, we're going to go on board with the interior with the visor cam. Bar 27. Bar 27, oh, very early on the race, but it might be a little bit too late, but man, what a move by Bar 27. Oh, James Head spun it around. Oh, that is so unfortunate for James Head, who was doing superbly well in the number 7. Oh, my goodness me. These two really fighting each other off. Very, very harsh indeed. And unfortunately, I think it's just not gotten the way of the number 7. And what's gone on here? What has gone here in Superhero? Where has he come from? 2 by 2 going towards the second chicane. What in the world has gone on here? Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious me. By Superhero to get that number 18 machine up into 2nd place. This has been absolutely insane. Dudley down in the 4th, Splash down in the 5th. Shadow, what's with the ghosting here? I'm not too 100% sure what's going on with the ghosting, unless he was trying to serve that bit of a penalty. Dudley now up into 3rd place, trying to make a move down to the inside on Shadow. Not going to make it work just right then and there. Shadow actually having to use a little bit of overtake, but Marcello, of course, Sunday drive, man. We've seen it happen before. Oh, and I think Shadow really trying to weave to break up that draft. Dudley now trying to get back up onto the back of Shadow, but Superhero gonna get that inside line. Oh, that thing is, oh, it's gonna be very, very close indeed. Absolutely close up between the 4 of these guys. Oh my goodness me, Dudley trying to use a little bit of overtake now to try and get back up to the back of the number 68 of Shadow. Marcello, of course, doing his thing as always, just not having to worry about the guys behind as well. That's what he gets Shadow for, just to do the heavy defending work indeed. So unlike the Kimi Räikköneness that is Tice, and I know Tice you're watching this, you have Shadow here as basically the complete opposite. I think I'm going to give that honor to Max Verstappen. And then Marcello just, of course, Lewis Hamiltoning the whole field, as per usual. I think Superhero starting to serve a little bit of that penalty right there. Tice saying Marcello is the GOAT. I think you're right about that. Marcello, of course, just when he gets in the zone, and does it very, very well indeed. Now this field's now starting to get broken up a little bit up into the top 5 as well. So we'll go further ways back down the running order, see if we can find anything as well. There's Bar. I'm not sure what's going on with the ghosting system of this course. I'm not sure that's... Someone's going to have to educate me on that as well. Tab now up into 8th place. What a very good showing Tab has had starting 11th in this race. Oh, going a little bit wide as a matter of fact, which is something that he doesn't definitely need. Petrolhead also going wide as well. James Head not going wide. Doug Barrow not going wide as well. So there seems to be 2 different types of driving lines here at Monza, apparently, for these types of cars. But apparently, I guess given to real life FIA status, there only should be, well, I believe one of them. So it looks like now things are starting to die down a little bit as well. Dudley back up into 3rd place. Marcello leading them off at the front of the field, 4.2 seconds over his teammate of Shadow. And of course, this is exactly what Simax have recruited Marcello to do, to absolutely showcase their finest of drivers in the SRS Motorsports League, in any given league for that matter of fact as well. Ghosting system is just usual GTS things. Yeah, I think hopefully they get those quirks ironed out for GT7, which should be releasing anytime soon. And so while we got a bit of a brief downtime at the moment here for the action, of course, to the few that were still into the stream, of course, send a couple questions my way. I'm always more than willing to answer a couple questions here in the live streams, of course. Definitely trying to serve a little bit of that penalty. So send some questions my way, and I'm more than happy to answer some questions for you guys as well. Splash in the number 11. The number 11 Mirror Pump sponsored machine at the end of lap number 7. Superhero up into 5th. Doing very, very well here, as a matter of fact, showing a glimpse of light up into 2nd place at one point. Go down the field, Hairraiser in a strong 6th place, doing very, very well in the 69, of course. He's one of the drivers that I would say he's kind of like the one that a lot of people I feel like sleep on, but you know, he does his good. He does good. When he's in the zone, he does it very, very well. Doing very, very well at it. And Bar 27 up to 7th place, doing very, very well for himself right there. And I believe that is a pit stop by James Head to, I believe, get some fresher rubber. Oh, and I think that was Petrolhead leaving. What's happened to Petrolhead? Where is Petrolhead? I'm trying to find him. Has he come out of the pits? Oh, and he's actually left the room. He's actually left the room. And I don't think that was any disconnect. I think that was just him leading the race. So I will have to double check to see. I will have to go back to the stream. Yeah, let me double check on the stream here to see what was going on with that. That was something I definitely did not expect to have happen. Tap also making their way into the pits, as well as Doug Barrow. James Head as well, trying to get back up into the fight. Shadow breaking apart, 1.4 seconds over Dudley. Doesn't have to worry a whole lot. So while I keep an eye out on the stream, I'm going to look at, see if that was whether a disconnect by Petrolhead. Okay, so I'm looking at the top of the screen, left the race, and waiting for it. Yep, left the lobby. Yep, so that was not a disconnect. That was just Petrolhead backing out of the lobby on his own. Once again, Tice saying, once again, proud manager with the Gucci emoji and the laughing emoji as well. Of course, by that sign, I could tell you were establishing world dominance in the SRS League. Martello's just been absolutely electric here today in this Super Formula World Championship round here at Monza for the feature race. Of course, Shadow in 2nd place in the 68. Tice, you're going to educate me here a little bit on the racing leagues that also Shadow does outside of SRS, because I have seen him do a couple live streams in the Cymax Discord from time to time as well, but do educate me on what other series Shadow does also like to compete in as well. So while you do that, we're going to take a moment at Dudley. Not that far off, about 8/10 back a little ways on Shadow, but Dudley has had to use an absolutely absurd amount of overtake. Did I just come up with a new word, absurd? Shadow going a little bit wide, as well as Superhero. Oh, that might open the door up for Splash to make a move. Dudley into the pits, as well as Superhero. So we'll go with the number 12 of Dudley into the pits, as well as Hairraiser. So a couple of front runners starting to make their halfway pit stops, and back on out they go. No fuel needed, and Superhero's going to come out right behind as well. So, but at the moment, Bar 27 up into P4, so a good race for him so far. But of course, he will have to make that mandatory pit stop. But given the fact that he is running very, very well up into P4, just we got to embrace the moment of Bar 27 doing absolutely well indeed. Shadow does KNAF, which is a Dutch league that pays his drivers. That's very, very interesting indeed. So that's actually quite interesting, because unless it pays very well, I guess there must be a very populous league, which is very, very good. So no complaints there as well for doing their own thing. an FIA course, which is the main platform for our team. Yeah, I think that's very good for you guys, because I know FIA, even I myself have been a little bit skeptical about FIA, unfortunately, because I guess given some of the per driving standards from some of the top split drivers. I know a couple of my drivers are starting to do FIA, which is very, very good. I mean, kudos to them. It's something that I myself don't like doing, because it's just, one, I don't really have the time for it, and two, I'd rather focus on legitimate league racing. Of course, there is Shadow into the pits. As a matter of fact, one of the two Cymax cars coming in after 10 laps or so. Or unless this is lap number 10, which could be the case. Getting some new fresh Michelin, I want to say, I believe. Michelin, I believe. Unless through Glitchstones, I think. I'm not 100% sure. And of course, Dudley going to come back out, or Shadow, I should say, going to come back out right in front of Dudley. So I think a little bit of a quicker out lap for Dudley. Going to try and make the move on to the outside. Of course, I believe using a little bit of overtake, but Shadow using having a lot more overtake underneath that car. Bar 27 up into the podium places. You love to absolutely see it. But going back to the FIA for a little bit, like I said, I know a couple of our drivers are starting to engage in in the FIA. I know one driver who has just recently signed up with the Speed Demons. I believe his name is Tachi94. Of course, was on another prior team that Carbon R was also part of as well. And I believe Doug Barrow has also left the race as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Doug Barrow has just called it a day, unfortunately, in the 13th, so things not going his way as well, unfortunately. Splash up in second place, sitting nice and pretty for the time being. And then there's Marcello, of course, you know, just doing his own thing. Don't have to worry a whole lot about him. But these guys, however, Dudley, oh my goodness gracious me, indeed, how close do you like it? Going for the podium places. Dudley now back up into the podium spots with Shadow behind. Oh, this is going to be absolutely wonders for Bar 27. Oh, Bar 27 getting a little bit onto the grass, but does save that car. And that's unfortunately what Dudley did not need right there for that number 68 to get on by as easily. And so with about 10 minutes left to go on the clock, we got a couple of these guys. Superhero, of course, who made his pit stop not that long ago, because of course trying to make up lost ground in the pit stop. He's trying to make up a couple points as well. Shadow serving up a 1-second penalty. Dudley sitting nice and pretty in third. Turn rise back up to Marcello. See if he makes his way into the pits, which he will stay on out for the time being. Continuing at his own pace. Splash to see if he is going to come in this time by, and it looks like he will, so the number 11 will come out of second place to make his one and only mandatory stop of this race. Dudley now back up into third place. No fuel unit, but will Splash come back out in second place. Dudley and Bar and Shadow make up a lot of lost ground, and so Splash after the queue is going to only come out in 5th place, so that's very interesting as well. And as a matter of fact, down to 6th, because Superhero is not that far off as well. So Splash on the most newest rubber. Shadow making his way up into P4. Bar 27, this has been absolutely wonderful so far, but unfortunately he will have to make that mandatory pit stop, which is going to drop him down the order quite significantly, unfortunately. And so for Shadow, Superhero, and Splash, that's another gifted position for each of those guys as well. And And so Dudley sitting nice and pretty up into second place. This is going to be an absolutely great result for him if he can hold on and keep this momentum going. Bar 27 still ahead of Shadow. So I'm not sure how Bar 27 got by over Shadow. Of course, Bar 27 going to keep it pedal to the metal, side by side. Oh, the largy party! Oh my goodness gracious me! They're still side by side going through Ascari. No freaking way! And wow, what a move! Because Superhero is going to shoot back up into fourth and even into third place. What a move! And this is not what Shadow needs, because he is absolutely getting swallowed up by this pack of cars. Splash going a little bit wide, having to let off significantly. Oh my goodness gracious indeed. And Bar 27 finally making his way into the pit stop. I'm not sure, that's a little bit of team orders right there. So that might be something that Sidemax are probably going to be fuming about a little bit. But Superhero, what a run he has had to get back up to the podium places. But Shadow, his best friend, that overtake button, being ready to use, a little bit of contact right there. And actually being forced off a little bit wide. As a matter of fact, it's not helped him out because he's gone onto the grass. Shadow using a little bit of that overtake now. Getting on par with Splash a little bit as well. Splash getting his way back up right behind the fourth place man of Shadow. And this is absolutely not great news for any of these guys, because they have absolutely got to be electric right now. Superhero having to be very defensive right now in that number 18 machine. The 68 has got, man, Shadow has got to be absolutely fuming about this right now. Just getting absolutely held up. Because they were expecting to be walking on the field with a 1-2, but he's having to fight off even number 18. And this is allowing Dudley to even get away and hold on to that second place as well. I see you guys are talking a little bit about the first lap incident with Doug Barrow. Of course, I had my say, so I'm not going to say a whole lot more. Splash making it very aggressive indeed. Superhero, and I believe having to serve a little bit of that penalty, and I think he's absolutely... What's going on with Superhero? What's going on with Superhero? What is he doing? What is going on with him? Has he had a disconnect or something like that? Oh, and this is terrible news, because Superhero is having major drama with something. What is going on with Superhero? He was doing absolutely well. What is going on with him? Has something gone wrong with his wheel or something like that, or his controller? He's having to pull over off to the side of the road, and this is absolutely terrible drama, because he was doing super well. He's having a bit of throttle input issues at the moment. He's coming into the pits at the moment, so this is not great news for the number 18. Absolutely terrible drama for the number 18. About to find out what's going on indeed. Of course, he's parked the car into the pits, coming out of the pits right now. And he's still having a bit of throttle issues. They've sent him back out, and this is absolutely not great news for the number 18. My, oh my, has done a superb well. He's parked up the car into turn number 1, and I imagine that is day over for the number 18, the Superhero, who has had throttle issues. And as Martello comes into the pits, but man, Superhero, you have got to absolutely be gutted for him. You cannot make this up. So he's parked the car out of the way into turn number 1, and I believe that is day over for him, like I said. Marcello coming out of the pits right now, knowing I think the yellow flags are going to be waved absolutely indeed for a parked car going into turn number 1. Yep, reported pedal fail, and that is day over for Superhero. That is absolutely unfortunate news right there, and you have got to be, and Superhero's got to be absolutely livid to have that happen at such a point in the race where he was fighting for even a podium position as well. Oh, Dudley spun! Dudley has spun out of the first corner, and he's even reset! No freaking way! And that has completely riddled his gap. And you cannot make this up. He set the fastest lap of the race, so he was setting absolutely consistent results. And that is what Dudley did not need to have happen right there. Oh my goodness gracious indeed. And that has allowed Shadow and even Splash to be right up into this second point position. And that's a kick in the nuts right there for Dudley to be getting that 5/10 penalty right there. So major drama for the number 12 with just about 4 minutes to go. Of course, Shadow and Splash both on that same overtake. Dudley's starting to show that penalty up right now, but he's got to get a move on if he wants to hang on to this second place position going into the Ascari chicane. Splash going to hang on for the time being. How has a race gone this dramatic within like the final 10 minutes of this race? And of course, Dudley and Splash, I think Splash will start to serve a little bit of the penalty. Shadow now up onto the outside at the moment. Ooh, that was a little bit of contact right there between the number 12 and the number 68. Dudley now having to go do extreme defense measures at the moment. Ooh, oh my god, what is up with the weaving, gents? Oh my goodness me, please keep it careful. Oh, please keep it careful. My god, you're going to absolutely wreck somebody here for that dangerous driving up on the course. Now Shadow now keeps the nose in there. Oh, please be careful with the driving. Oh, and Shadow has got it off, and he's put a foot wrong, and he's absolutely into the grass. Oh my goodness gracious, indeed. Yeah, this is, oh my goodness me. On the throttle, yep, and that has got absolutely everything wrong for Shadow. Oh my god, dangerous driving. Oh my goodness, gents, please keep it careful at the moment. But as a matter of fact, with everything's been said and done, Splash back up into the podium places now. Dudley is still in second place. I don't even know with that drama how he's even still been able to hold on to this position. Shadow now in the background there. Splash now up in the third place, doing very, very well. I could tell he's going to be a very happy man if he joins for the podium interview, of course. And so, of course, Splash having a lot more overtake. Of course, Dudley trying to use as much overtake as he can to try and break away from that number 11 machine from behind as well. Marcello about 19 seconds or so ahead, just doing his own thing, not having to worry about a whole lot left. Shadow not that far off, 4.6 seconds to the good for that podium places, so it's still not done from over. Final lap of this race, I can imagine, but I believe Marcello is going to be the only one that will finish on the lead lap. And he's just doing his own thing. You don't really have to, just doing his own thing. Don't have to worry about a whole lot. Of course, getting that fastest lap wants that extra bonus points, I imagine, or that bragging rights. Dudley and Splash still fighting it off for second and third. Of course, this is going to be an absolute chunk of change for these guys as well. And so I think Splash going into desperado mode right here. Very close riding between these two. This is going to be an absolutely electric race finale here today. On board from the team came up there, looking back at Splash. About 4/10 to the good for Splash. Dudley just really clean and concise lines throughout these Ascari chicane. And Shadow not that far off as well, 3.7 seconds. Shadow having to absolutely use as much overtake as he's got left to get back up into the fight for this final podium position. 5/10 up for Splash this time by Marcello now. Going to come through the line with 26 seconds left to go. And it's 20 seconds at the line. So will Dudley and Splash make it? So this is going to be for basically who can make it to the line. These guys might not even have another lap to go. If they do, it's going to be an absolutely electric fight for the podium places here. 4, 3, 2, 1, and they will make it. So Shadow, unfortunately, will come home for the checkered flag in 4th place. Razor atop 5, Quiet 5th place, and Bartler's up in the 6th place. James Head and Tap will round up this 8-car finishing grid. Marcello doing his own thing in 1st place, but the battle for 2nd and 3rd is still raging on. Splash doesn't have much left in the terms of overtake. Dudley has got a fair amount of overtake left in that number 12 machine. This is going to be an absolutely electric finish to this race here indeed. You can see at the top of your gantry of the roll bar right there, Dudley having green, meaning he's got plenty of overtake left. Splash having red, has got low on overtake, but when that light is off, that means no more overtake for the car in front or in behind you. Of course, Dudley trying to break up the draft as much as he can. These guys giving each other the absolute respect, utmost respect for racing each other super hard and super clean right now. Dudley now to the inside of Ascari, now moves back to driver's line. While these two fight it out, we're going to go turn the rise back up to the front of the field now. This man, once again, Sunday driving the whole field, dominating today, and it will be Marcello who will win the feature race of round number 7 of the SRS Super Formula World Championship here at Monza. Splash up in the second! Splash up in the second! As he had to serve a bit of a penalty! And that is major drama for Dudley, who's done super well! And splash! Dudley trying to use the overtake left of what he's got, and it's a drag race to the line! Holy crap. Wow, that genuinely dropped my jaw right there. That is unbelievable right there. Oh my goodness me. So what we're gonna do now real quickly is just get the an absolutely crazy race here. Whew. Oh my goodness me. All we're gonna do now is just get those that I did not think. That is just absolutely unreal. Well, we got those that are starting to join into the party here. Oh my goodness me. That was, look at that, 5,000ths of a second between second and third place at the line. Dudley getting back through down to third, but Dudley just somehow powered his way through into second place. I've never seen a race finish like that go absolutely closest. And someone's got to educate me. That might be the closest finishing margin with an SRS. Someone has to fact check me on that as well. But my goodness, indeed. Oh, ay as well. So Splash in third, Dudley second, Marcello taking the win. We're going to start off with the man in first place who has just joined the party. Marcello, man. Once again, you're Sunday driving the whole field. Nothing a whole lot. Just, you got to enjoy the scenery while you can. Tell us about the race today, Marcello.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the race went, as you can imagine. Lap 1, there was a little bit of a contact with Doug, which was unfortunate. He went on the gravel. I tried to... He went down the inside of me, and in the second part of the chicane, I didn't have much room. I had nowhere to go there. So it was a very unfortunate incident, I would say, but the rest of the race was just all about trying to work together with Shadow. Eventually, when I got past, I managed to get out of the slipstream, which was the key for securing the win, and went into the pits as late as possible to secure the fastest lap as well. So I think it could have been better.
Well, you made some very good moves here today as well, Marcello. And of course, I did want to go back up to that one moment with that turn 1 incident with you and Doug Barrow. Of course, Doug Barrow has voiced his frustration in the chat a little bit on the stream here. But it's kind of a two-sided coin because, of course, Doug Barrow was trying to make the move through the exit of that second chicane. And basically how your car was positioned with his. Do you think it was either your fault or Doug Barrow's fault in that situation with how things went?
I don't know. I think that from my onboard, I think it... Obviously, I'll probably have to take a look at the replay as well, but I think he could have left me a little bit more space, because I left him plenty of space when he went down inside of me, so, it was all about trying to be a little bit more respectful. I tried to go, to still make the move in the second part of the chicane, but unfortunately it didn't work for him. And I'm sorry, but I think he could have probably left a little bit more room, and then would have been an incident, because I left him room earlier, so he could have just, I don't know, maybe repay the favor. So yeah, it was. I would say it was an unavoidable incident. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit unfortunate on both guys' end, because I think it's one of those corners that's if you can get it right, you can go too wide through. But I think unfortunately, from what I saw, I think Doug Barrow kind of pointed the car towards the apex, and unfortunately you were there. You were trying to follow track limits and do your part, but we'll definitely have the incidents be reviewed. Also, James had in the chat saying, please make sure to send in any incidents if you need things investigating. Can't do anything if they aren't done, and submit it in. So good job for you, Marcello, and I do believe we are still waiting for 2 more people in the chat. I'm not too sure what is going on here, unless Dudley and Splash are going right back into things as well. There is Dudley back right at it again, so I guess no podium interview this time, so maybe he's going to try and double down and get something out of it as well. Splash, of course, in the pit lane, so I think things got a little bit crazy there. So I think at the moment we're just going to interview the winner for the time being, a normal press review as well. So congratulations for you, Marcello, on getting the all-elusive race win. So, and one final question as well, do you think you could double down like you did at Dragon Show and get another Sunday drive to get the Sunday drive double here today at Monza?
It's not going to be easy. In case I actually manage to win the race, it would be a Sunday drive, because getting to traffic is not easy. But I like Dragon Trail. I've got to pick my moments, make the moves when I need to, be smart and not just fast. And just drive my own race and see what went on.
Well, absolutely indeed. Of course, you're going to have your work cut out for you, so hopefully you can replicate like you did at Dragon Trail. I wish you the best of luck. From the Speed Demon Motorsports team especially, ended up here in the commentary booth. So congratulations for you, and hopefully you can sweep the weekend once again. Once you get back to your Side Mats Motorworks party, we'll let you get rolling here again for the sprint race. So that was Marcello in the number 5 Side Mats Motorworks machines, and of course, once again having another Sunday drive. It's always when basically when things get that close. Oh my goodness me. Just absolutely crazy finish. I still cannot believe that just happened. And so no time for interviewing by Dudley, of course, so we're going to be expecting things to go very, very close indeed, of course. Razor out in the 2nd position. So what I'm going to do real quickly is just hang on, what the heck is going on here? Trying to figure out what in the world is going on here. Tice, I've just seen the nickname that you gave yourself in the Speed Motorsports Discord. Very, very well done indeed. I do like to see that. I do love to see that as always. So always puts a smile on my face when shenanigans like that happen in places that I do love being in as well. And so things about to get rolling once again here for the sprint race. 20 minutes on the clock, but do I need certain latex protection in the? All right, well. I'm sorry. Where are you at? There you are. I'm sorry. It's all going downhill. If I'm not on stream, if I'm not in the commentator's booth after this race, guys, I do apologize. But I just have way too much fun in these streams at times. Just really love to have it. Ooh, a little sideways shifter from Doug Barrow. Really getting the sideways going as well. Of course, Doug Barrow going to try and see what he can do in the second half of this race. Of course, this time from the back of the grid, it will be Tappa Jameshead occupying the front row with Bart 27, Razor, and Shadow and Splash. Dudley, Marcello, and Doug Barrow rounding up this 9-car grid. Of course, we're still missing the 2 cars of Petrol, who unfortunately retired the car after poor handling reported from him. And then Dudley, of course, unfortunately his pedals officially did braking, so that was very unfortunate for him. Hopefully he does get those fixed sooner rather than later as well. So 1 let right and then 1 green light, as a matter of fact. James had not a great start, but Tap with a wonderful start. Back out real quickly for the start of this race. Diving down the inside, Shadow up into 3rd place. And he's going to try and make a move on Razor. Going into turn number 1, James had a terrible start out of the first start. And Shadow, what a move! Oh, and it's RG Bargy indeed. Oh, and Top's going around, and that's a big, oh my god, oh, wow, oh my goodness gracious indeed. Big moment going through that first chicane. Actually, let me, oh my goodness me, and you absolutely cannot be serious here as well. Jens, were we trying to not have the turn 1 shenanigans happen? I swear on my life. Oh my goodness me. I swear, Jens. And there are not going to be a lot of happy campers. A couple of damage reports as well. Oh, and I believe Hairraiser has taken out the... What has happened here once again? Out of the lead. Trying to go too wide. Oh my goodness me. Oh my... What is going on for the start of this race? At bar 27, you cannot make this up. Leading the way in the sprint race. Dudley and Marcello and Splash up in the making the top 4, but bar 27 in the lead of this race. What an absolutely amazing victory this will be. Marcello going to serve a little bit of that penalty. Splash now up into the podium places as well, but bar 27 leading the way here at the beginning of this race. Gents, I thought we were doing SRS, not FIA shenanigans, unfortunately. And I could tell there's going to be a lot of fist words being flown after the race, unfortunately. After what we just saw, Bart was having a really good defense, deep onto the brakes, going into turn number 1 here, right there as well. Giving and Dudley keeping Bar right honest with him. Marcello up into 3rd place, now trying to make his way back over the field. I can tell Marcello is not going to make this any easy at all. Bart 27, ooh, got to be very careful on that controller bait. Be very careful. Dudley, of course, being on that wheel, you can just see how much easier it is to control with the car. And Dudley, with that overtake assistance, making that move very easy and sophisticated. Marcello and Splash, not that too far off. Razor getting back up a little bit as well. Shadow all the way down into 6th place. A warning by the 27 of dangerous driving. Was there a little bit dangerous driving? So Tice issuing a warning for the dangerous driving. Not too sure what the dangerous driving is for. Gonna have to probably inform me a little bit as to what happened there with bar 27's side of things as well. But Dudley now leading the way. Of course, trying to break the toe a little bit as well. Even get a little bit on the grass. Marcello, not that too far off. Splash also about 8 and a little bit, 10 some more, little ways back. Forcing off at Parabolica. Okay, so that must have been the case with Dudley and Barr going side by side, so that's definitely something to note as well. Marcello, a little bit onto the, ooh, I thought he was going to go on the gravel, but Splash trying to use a little bit of overtake to still stay behind the number 5 of Marcello. And so Marcello really closing the gap right up now to bar 27. Oh, and I thought he was going to hit him. Bar 27 not going to make this easy, but Marcello finding his way on through. You can tell when Marcello, he's going to turn up the knob to about 110% every single race. Gives it his all. Actually staying behind, so I'm kind of wondering if Bar used a little bit of overtake, and it looks like he has. Marcello going off a little bit wide. Splash now up on the back diffuser now of Marcello. Very, very tight racing indeed. Of course, Marcello, what's he going to do right here? Is he going to force his way onto the right side of the track? He's going to stay to the left, which is a good thing, of course, knowing where the right racing surface is, at least. Marcello now, ooh, and I thought he was going to lose under the braking, going into that first chicane. Splash now, Marcello, what a clean move, but Splash now having to sit behind Bar and try and make something out of it next. Tap now, and I believe James and Doug, a little bit of a argy-bargy-ness with Tap behind as well. Down in 6th place. As Shadow all the way down to 9th. What has happened to Shadow? What is going on with Shadow here? Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh my goodness me. Has he hit one of the inside curves? Because this has not been a good weekend for Shadow whatsoever. Doug Barrow also having another moment as well. What in the world is going on here? Little hot. Oh my goodness gracious me. Oh, this is going to be an absolutely... This is... Wow. What is going on? What in the world is going on? Alright, let's keep an eye out what's to go on here with Doug Barrow. Tap going a little bit wide. Oh, yeah, there was not a whole lot that could be done. Doug Barrow, unfortunately, just leaving the lobby right then and there. Oh, my goodness me. Unfortunate stuff. Marcello now down in the 4th. What is going on to Marcello? What is going on? And he's lost significant time. What is going on with this race? Oh my goodness me. I can tell the stewards are going to be absolutely busy this coming week. 13 has been disqualified. Yeah, I don't know what's going on indeed. But something, unless he's been kicked from the race, which could be the case. But my word indeed, this has just been absolutely, I don't want to say horrific, but it's just been very, very FIA shenanigans like. And this, it's not even halfway through the race, so this has been absolutely chaotic as all heck. The only really person who's had a perfect race all day today has been Dudley, leading him off. That's not the button I wanted to hit. Dudley now, very, very well indeed here today in the number 12 machine. And the thing about FIA is not even close to this. Well, maybe I might be making stuff up that's not true, so it might be my personal perception, but you know, I'm always up to making sure that, you know, the FIA's got their stuff together, like, you know, people aren't ramming each other off and whatnot, then that I can comprehend with. But you know, just still, it takes a lot of times, but you know, I'm always up to seeing some things happen on and, you know, hopefully off the track as well, maybe. But basically, I just really want to see, you know, good racing. But I think, unfortunately, for the sprint race, it has been all you-know-what down the you-know-what. Shadow now back up into 6th place, so he's been making up lost ground like absolutely mad, even though if it's giving him a 1-second time penalty. And so, Razor now quietly into the 5th place in that second Costa Racing machine, doing very, very well. And I think James Head, of course, even though he is one of the stewards of the league, of course, participating in this race, not very, very happy with what is going on indeed. So now this 9-car grid resulting in an 8-car grid here today for the rest of this race. There is Shadow in the background with James Head as well. Tap also not that far off as well. Keep an eye out for these three with Splash and Bar still going on at Bar 27 has been doing absolutely very, very well in the sprint race here. And what a podium it would be for Bar 27 to finish up into second place. Maybe even a win if we can get up to Dudley, but Dudley has been absolutely flying off into the distance as well. Of course, I think getting the Sunday Drive Mojo vibes on as well. Splash now, gonna make a move possibly on Bar 27. Of course, waiting for the right opportune moment to strike. Oh, Bar 27. A little bit argy-barginess. Splash looking up to the inside. Bar 27 covered it off as quickly as Splash looked at it. Back in front as well. And so Splash now still hanging on into that third place position, but Bar 27 going to go under attack from the Mad Lithuanian. I think Bar 27 starting to use a little bit of overtake. And I'm not sure. I think Bar 27 tried to, use the overtake to counteract that overtake that Splash was trying to use to get that run. But this is allowing Marcello to rapidly close back up at an alarming rate right here. Getting the slipstream. Bar 27 still. Yep, Martello's going to hold off a little. Oh, big contact. Oh, that could have gone a whole lot worse between the two of those. And that has allowed Marcello to really claw back up that lost ground indeed. These two side by side, 3 wide, going in down towards the first corner. Marcello now still barely ahead. Oh, my goodness me. Splash, this is from Splash's point of view right now, having to break off a little bit as well. Marcello, what a move. That is for the Italian. Marcello, what a move, mate. You have got to be absolutely kidding me indeed. Splash now down into 4th place. Bar 27 down 3rd place as well. A 2-for-1 for Marcello. 2 birds of 1 stone. What a move that was by Marcello to get back up into 2nd place as well. Bar 27 not giving Splash any bit of breathing room whatsoever. And now this has allowed Marcello to chase down Dudley, but he's got 6.2 seconds to the good, and he's got about 7.5 minutes to go. So this is not going to be any easy for Marcello to get back up to that 1st place podium positions if he wants to sweep the weekend here. I can just see it all kicking off now on the Discord, unfortunately, of course. But yeah, like I said, I always try to be unbiased as I can in the races, because I don't like to, root for one particular driver or give crap to one particular driver. I always like to be biased, maintain some form of professionalism, of course. So anything that's going to be said after the Discord is going to have to, of course, I don't want to, be that one guy, but like I said, just want to have fun, do what I can. But like I said, this guy, I can tell the Discord's gonna be very, very busy indeed after these sets of races are set and over. Marcello now 6.1 seconds, fastest lap of the race, just trying to make up whatever lost ground that he can get back. Splash now not that too far off of Bar 27 in 3rd place. Five tenths up for Splash this time by. And so it's going to be absolutely electric here indeed. I'm not sure if James said is going to pop in for the post-race interviews after the race, but if he does, I do expect some form of professionalism from his side of things as well. So, but yeah, other than that, Splash now still hanging on the back of Bar 27 for this podium spot. Would he love it to close it on 2 third places here today at Monza in the number 11 machine. Bar 27, oh my goodness me, what a day he has had. Of course, luck really, like, pretty much getting him like a pot of gold, that type of levels of luck right there. And just really being in the right place at the right time. Wouldn't this make up for the misfortunes of Superhero's pedal failures from race 1? This would be an absolutely electric podium for Bar 27. Fastest lap for him so far. Very good of him. Marcello now purple fastest lap of 37.212. So he's making up lost ground, but Dudley also setting his best lap of the race as well with a 37.355. Got about a little less than 5 minutes left to go of this very hectic and very chaotic race here. Purple sectors as well, so even Dudley's now starting to match the pace, even be just a little bit faster than Marcello at the moment, but Marcello not that too far off at the moment. But where is Splash and Bar? There they are, 3 seconds behind Marcello. But this has been absolutely electric to see that these guys, especially in Bar 27's case, you never see him really up in the podium unless it is a lower tier or division. So this is absolutely amazing to see Bar 27 up into the podium places here with a chance to really, you know, get a really good haul of points and a third place trophy here today. But in order to keep that third place podium, you got about to hold that third place position for about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Dudley 6.2 seconds ahead of Marcello. Of course, those guys having, of course, Dudley faster that time by than Marcello. So Dudley now really starting to put the pressure on Marcello now to really claw back that lost time. Marcello, if you got a knob that goes up to about 200%, may put it up there, because you are going to absolutely need all that 200% to be able to get to close up on Dudley, unless a mistake unravels everything, which it did happen to Dudley at one point in the race. Almost cost him second place in the feature race, but narrowly held on by 0.005 of a second. And that sometimes races, they go that long, they go to that length, and it gets really crazy here today. Shadow all the way down to 7th place. What in the heck is going on here? This has not been the feature race that I expect from Shadow to see. Look at the lap times right there. 40, 38, 48, 37, 38, 41, 38, 37, 38, and he might be having an even worse lap here. Not really good news for Shadow, as James Head and Razor are all starting to get really feisty here for that extra podium, for that top 5 position occupied by Hair Razor at the moment. Of course, Shadow, I don't know why he's weaving back there. That's really dangerous driving, so I think that's going to have to be investigated a little bit as well. And James Head, I believe, is trying to serve a little bit of that penalty, I imagine, as well. That's going to allow Shadow to get on by for that 6th place position as well, using a little bit of overtake with a little bit less than a lap to go. But I imagine these guys are all going to have their final lap starting right now. Bar 27 still up into that 3rd place. Splash, I think, waiting for the opportune moment to really strike. These two really low on their overtake, as well as Marcello. But Dudley has got plentiful of overtake left. Of course, Marcello clawed back a second, but I do believe Marcello might be too far off. What's going on with the pack right now at the moment? Oh, sideways moments for a lot of these guys. Razor has actually got no overtake left, so he's completely bone dry, and Shadow now gonna make the move onto the outside using the overtake, and well executed, but Razor gonna have to sit nice and pretty. James Head also with plenty of overtakers right now. Razor, oh, big slide and big wiggle out of that second chicane for Razor right there. That does pick him up a 5-times penalty, which is quite unfortunate. But this is going to be an absolutely electric finish for a lot of these guys as well. And then Tap occupying that final spot left of the running cars left in 8th place. Dudley now coming through the final corner. to, I presume, start the final lap of the race for this sprint race here today. And he has completely controlled this race from the majority of the beginning right now. Splash and Bar 27, I think Splash playing very aggressive. Bar 27 doesn't have any overtake left, so he is bone dry, and Splash is completely bone dry. So now it is up to driver skill left in the final bits of this race. Oh, and Splash, what's going on with Splash? Has he finished? Oh my goodness me, has Splash finished this race? And I think he's given it to Bar 27 for that podium. Shadow's going to come through for 5th. James Head and Razor by 26 thousandths of a second separate those two for 6th and 7th place. Tap will come home. Quiet race for him in 8th place. Has Splash finished this race? Yeah, actually, you know what? I think he's going to give Bar 27 this podium. I think he's giving it to the podium. I think Bar 27, I think Splash, very generous man indeed. I think he's going to give Bar 27 this 3rd place podium. What an absolutely splendid lad you are, Splash. To give Bar what is probably going to be a once-in-a-blue-moon podium here today. Dudley, 5.9 seconds over Marcello. Sharon Palmer, great to see you once again for these broadcasts as usual. You're just in time to see the finale of the finish of the sprint race here. Dudley coming through the final corner in the number 12 to take the win of the sprint race here at the Autodrome Nazionale Monza. Marcello not that far off in 2nd place. But ladies and gentlemen, give it up for a once-in-a-blue moon occupying the number 27. It will be Bar 27 who will take 3rd at the sprint race here at Autodrome Nazi Monza. Give it up for the man in the Pink Panther to make up for the unfortunate casualties in the featured race for Superhero. What a podium that is going to be for Bar 27. But give it up as well for Splash. An absolutely generous Mad Lad in 4th place in the number 11. What an uplifting turn of events right there. I feel a lot more happier about that as well. Shadow occupying the top 5 of that race, but Dudley coming through for the win after that 2nd place in the 1st race to come through for the win in the sprint race. I'm going to save the replay as well because that is going to be very, very chaotic indeed. We'll go to the race results and we'll get the podiums underway. And I got to add the piece de resistance, which is going to be Bar 27, not VAR 27, Bar 27. So we'll get the man in the party. And my, oh my, indeed, what a hectic and chaotic race that was as well. We're starting to get our podium finishers into the party right about now. Crazy race. So we'll start off with the man, the myth, the legend, who got 2nd in the feature race, but coming home through for the win in the sprint race. Dudley, that looked very, very chaotic for you, especially at that feature race finish as well. I mean, you come home through for the race win. Tell us about both of the races you had to go through today. Well, a good day for you, Dudley. Of course, 2nd place in the feature, and then a win in in the sprint race. Of course, I would be exhausted too by driving these cars around at these tempo of speed, of course. But of course, a good day for you nonetheless. I think Doug Barrow just reported no sound from Dudley, unfortunately, so, but good day for you nonetheless. Of course, you got to be celebrating nice and pretty here to the rest of the day, to say the least. And so we'll turn our attention to the man in second place, Marcello. Of course, Marcello taking the win. Like, kind of a mirroring result from you and Dudley for the set of races here today. Of course, getting first in the feature race, but second in the sprint race to the man that got second in the feature race. Marcello, tell us about your race today.
Yeah, wasn't an easy race. I was really lucky at the start to not get involved in that incident. Then, after that mistake in the chicane, I don't know if that was caught on stream, but after that I just didn't really have much pace. But at the end, I just tried to push as hard as I could. See if Dudley was gonna make any mistakes, because you never know. And but P2 was the best I could have done after that mistake in the chicane.
Yeah, it was a good day for you, Marcello. I think you were having a little bit of a argy-bargy fest the early part of that race that you were having to really navigate through on the first lap. So I think that's going to leave the stewards pretty full on their plate for the remainder of the week. But, what was I know you were kind of in a position to really get yourself in a predicament to get as much claw back as you can for the second race here. What was the instinct like for you going through that argy-barginess through turn one on the first lap?
I just went round the outside to avoid all the carnage, and I don't know, just try to avoid it, and pretty much it, really.
Well, a good day for you nonetheless, Marcello, mirroring the results of Dudley with a first place and a second place here. So a good day for you nonetheless. And I imagine, Bar 27, are you in the party by any chance?
Yep.
So Bar 27 taking what is probably going to be a Blue Moon podium. Completely did not expect. I completely surprised myself, and I think you even surprised yourself to be on the podium here. We usually don't have these podium interviews these often, Bar, but tell us about the third place you got yourself today.
I know one thing. I have to thank Soup Hero for coaching me throughout that second race. He pretty much told me when to use overtake, and pretty much taking it easy throughout the whole thing. That turn one incident, I was just trying to stay clean, stay out of the mess. But overall, hopefully this is not the last interview.
Yeah, I hope so as well. You're doing very good, mate. Of course, I've gotten to know you for a little while as well. Of course, always trying to, you don't have the best racing schedule, unfortunately. You don't have the time and luxury to always be racing every single weekend. But take us through the emotions through that final lap of that race where, I think Splash pretty much just gifted you that podium, I think, because he was pretty happy with himself with the third place. So I think he was kind of spreading the generosity out. Take us through the final lap of that race. What were the emotions like taking that number 27 machine to the third place here today?
I know one is just relief of getting that third place. I don't know what happened to Splash. We think it's probably like pedal issues he had or something, but after I seen the gap widening, I just full of relief.
Yeah, so a good day for you, Bar 27 as well. So a good day for all of the podium drivers as well. Not the best race, in my opinion, regarding driving standards, but I believe the stewards are going to have to be very, very heavy with the racing and see how things shape up there as well. And I believe James said you are in the party as well, if that is correct.
No interview from me.
Gotcha, completely understandable as well. So we're going to cut it here, ladies and gentlemen, as well. So thank you all to everyone who has been joining. Congratulations to all our competitors, our racers, our podium finishers, and our race winners here today. I've been NC_RZ, and we'll see you guys next time, I believe, for the Nürburgring rounds of the Super Formula Series. So take care, gents. You have an awesome day, and we'll see you guys next week.